Today we have Mr. Bruce Rosenblatt of Senior Housing Solutions, and he's going to tell you about our new exciting partnership exclusively with John R. Wood. Take it away.
Thanks, Corey.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for having me here today. Again, I'm Bruce Rosenblatt, and my associate is in the back of the room, Brenda Rose, and so she's back here. Brenda, welcome, Brenda. So, as Corey said, this is a very exciting time with Senior Housing Solutions and John R. Wood that we've developed this partnership, and we're going to talk more about all that in a second. I've been so impressed with John R. Wood, from meeting Mr. Wood and meeting Phil and meeting Tess and Corey and everybody. It's such a great organization, and so you all should feel very honored and pleased that you're working for a wonderful organization, because there's not many companies out there that have the support systems like you all have here. So I congratulate you all for working for John R. Wood. And I think what we do in this partnership is going to provide a higher level of customer service to your clients as well as to our clients. So just a little bit about what we're going to talk about today is who we are, who is Senior Housing Solutions, what we do, and so I think that's how we get paid. I've already kind of heard some questions in the room about how we get paid, and so we'll touch on that. And then we're going to talk about what is our relationship with John R. Wood, and how does this work with John R. Wood, and then how we can help one another, and then I'll open it up for some questions and answers. So it should be kind of short and sweet, but to the point. So a little bit about me. I've been in the senior housing business for over 30 years. I have overseen 75 different senior communities in 14 different states. I have been in Southwest Florida for 28 of those years. I've overseen 3 different communities in this area. So I've been in this business for quite a while, and so I worked in sales and marketing at these different communities, and then I became a consultant, and so I was flying all over the country trying to help out all these different communities. I was overseeing a community in Tucson, and I was flying out to Tucson on Monday morning and coming back late Thursday night, and I was jet lagged on Friday, and trying to have some type of life on a Saturday. Then I was doing laundry on Sunday, and then I'm back on the road on Monday. And as you all probably understand about flying and traveling, that is not fun, and especially being tall, it's even more difficult. And pretty much I got burnt out from traveling. So in the back of my mind, I said, how can I use all my knowledge, and how can I use all my experience to, one, make it a business, but also to help people. And so in 2008, I formed Senior Housing Solutions. And so we're going on our 11th year, and so that's what we do, is we provide advice for people who are searching for senior housing, and we'll talk a bit more about that. But that's all that we do. So we don't do anything else. We don't try to sell people's homes. We don't try to downsize. We don't do anything. We help people find senior housing. So that's exclusively what we do. And I try to stay very active in the local community. So I'm on a number of different boards that support local seniors, and so I'm trying to be very active, trying to, low-income housing is a problem in this area, so I'm trying to, raise awareness of that. You might have seen I have a column in the Naples Daily News, and so I write a column in the Naples Daily News as well as the News Press. And so again, I'm trying to educate people about planning ahead, about the different options. I recently wrote a new article about how the baby boomers and how the influx of the baby boomers, how that's changing the landscape of senior housing. So it's kind of interesting how that's looking. And I speak at a lot of different organizations, a lot of different clubs around town. It's one of the ways that people hear about me, because not many, I'm still trying to increase the awareness about what I do and the services that we offer, and so I always look at opportunities to speak at different organizations. So I am a guest speaker at many places. I am a native Floridian. So if you're kind of curious what a native Floridian looks like, this is what we look like. We're grown tall in Florida. And so again, I've lived in Southwest Florida for, this is 27 years, but it's actually 28 years. I'm a tennis player, I'm a scuba diver, and I'm a barbecue judge. And so it's totally unrelated to everything, but I always get a lot of questions about, Bruce, where's the best barbecue in town? And so I travel throughout the state of Florida, and I attend barbecue contests, and I get to try really good barbecue. Sometimes it's not so good, but so I'm a barbecue judge, which is kind of fun, and I enjoy my barbecue, and I know there's a couple people in this room that have enjoyed my barbecue as well. So that's what I do. And just for your knowledge, I'm 6'7". So that we can kind of get that question out of the way. I know Spence, we were talking about earlier that there's a tall guys club or a tall person's club in Collier County, so we got to check that one out. So
I love it when Bruce is around, I feel short.
there we go. So again, we are senior housing advisors, and so what is that? You know, we have financial advisors, and we have real estate advisors, and we have legal advisors, but not many people know what a senior housing advisor is and what we do. And so I want to talk about that. And as I was thinking about how it relates to you all in the real estate business, you know, if you had someone trying to buy a home, you would insist on that person having an inspection. You would want that person to have that home inspected, soup to nuts. And we are basically the same thing. We are the senior housing inspectors. And so we know everything about all the different communities. And there's about 100 different communities in between Collier and Lee counties. And so we know about quality of care, quality of food, financial stability, resident satisfaction, prices, availability, staff turnover, any kind of operational issues these communities are having, any future trends that are in the marketplace. And so we stay current with every one of these communities around this area. And you can imagine, 100 different communities, that's a lot. And these things, it's a very fluid thing. What a good community today may not be such a great community tomorrow. And so, that's what we do. We're in and out of these different communities. I have clients living at many of them, and they become a great resource that I can say, hey, how are things going? Or, how, do you still have your chef, or the chef's gone? And so we're able to stay current with all the different communities. And, in this area, there's some really good ones, there's some decent ones, and then there's some that aren't so good. And the last thing you want to do is to, have somebody move into a community that, isn't in good shape, or maybe they're not familiar with the different types of licenses, or maybe they need more care, or maybe they don't understand the financial structure and they're going to have to move out. So we try to solve all that way before people move in. And this is a big decision that people are going through. And normally it's a move that they're going to move there for the rest of their life. So this is a huge decision, and there's a lot of moving pieces to it. And so for somebody to make this decision without our input is really not a wise move. So having our input, having our advice really is the best decision that they could do. And we always say that we know what people don't know. And so, we know the inner workings of these different communities, and so we know what people don't know. And so the average consumer will walk into a community, and basically they're walking into a sales environment. They're being sold an apartment, and and maybe they're not, they're obviously not going to be telling them everything that needs to be told. And so we join people on their tours. We ask some of the hard questions. And so we become an advocate for them during the whole touring process. So I brought my little Rubik's Cube, and it's all nice and pretty because I don't want to kind of turn it and mess it up. But what we do is really almost like a Rubik's Cube. And so we meet with people in their own homes. So we go to their homes and we get to know their lifestyle and where they're living, and we get to know their little dog and their family photos. So we take the time to understand the people in their own homes, and which I think is really very comforting and very helpful. And we understand probably a lot. Well, it's very similar to what you all do. Is we understand what their needs, what their lifestyle, what their preferences are, and their budget. And from that, we're able to turn the Rubik's Cube and find different communities that match their needs. And so we have a very sophisticated database that we're able to, enter information, and then that disseminates that information and pretty much narrows down the different choices. Because I've been doing this so long, I really don't need that kind of database. I can kind of process things in my mind. And so we're able to take that information that people share, and instead of looking at 35 different communities, maybe it's going to be 3, or maybe it's going to be 4. And so we're able to narrow down that choices based on the information that they're sharing. And we have pre-screened and pre-qualified different communities, so communities that we know that we feel comfortable recommending. And we narrow down this search. We're narrowing this thing down so people aren't running all over town trying to find something that maybe is the right fit or maybe it's not the right fit. And then we schedule visits for them. So we schedule the visits for them, we join them on their tours, and so again, we're this advocate for them as we're going on tours. And I gotta say, being 6'7", going on a tour is extremely helpful because people know that I'm here, and so people, I'm hard to miss, so people know that I'm there. And so I'm this advocate for people. Brenda is also a social worker. She has a master in social worker, so she brings sort of that medical piece to people as well. And then surprisingly, a lot of some of these fees are negotiable. And so we help negotiate fees. Sometimes these communities offer specials. We can get moves paid for, or maybe a lower entrance fee. So we help people, again, that understanding their contracts, understanding the fee structures. And we provide a very valuable resource. And so, somebody might need a mover, someone might need an attorney, someone might need a realtor. So hint, hint, that's kind of how this is all going to work. And so we provide, I have this toolbox of resources that I can tap into when people need, maybe they need veterans benefits, or maybe they need an attorney, or maybe they need a financial advisor. So we have people that we feel comfortable recommending. So how do we get paid? This is always a big topic. So in most cases, our services are 100% free. So how does that work? We receive, on the back end, we receive a referral fee from the communities. So when one of our clients move into a community, they pay us a referral fee. The key part of that is that we need to be the point of first contact. So very similar to you all in the real estate business, we need to be the procuring agent. So, we need to be that individual to register them under our name. And so sometimes it's a little challenging, and there's, we're in the age of the internet, and people are surfing on the internet, or people are researching places on their own. So it does get a little challenging, but again, that's how we get paid in most cases. There are times where people have done their research and they want to use us as a sounding board. So in those cases, we do charge a consulting fee for our services. There are times where people want us to do research for them up north. And so in those cases, again, we will charge a consulting fee. And people can retain us on their own if they've already contacted different places. In some of these places, the entrance fees are up to $2 million, and monthly fees are about 10 grand a month. And so, you better, it's very smart to tap into what we know before you chunk down $2 million to move into a community. And because you're going to want to move into this community with your eyes wide open. And so again, we do out-of-town research for people. And so we that's pretty much how it works financially. So what is our relationship with John R. Wood? And again, I got to thank Tess and Phil. I've been working with Scott, and so this is kind of how it works. So it's an exclusive relationship. So we have people, our clients, that many times have to sell their homes before they need to move somewhere. And so what we will do now is that anybody who has a home to sell, we will recommend John R. Wood to them. And because you're in this room today, you're going to be part of that distribution of those leads. And so, you know, that's how it's gonna work. So, you know, we promote John R. Wood to our clients, and we say, you know, they say we gotta sell our home before we gotta move. And so automatically it's gonna be, you know, we refer them to John R. Wood. I think it's gonna come through the executive team, or how you all work it out here, but, we'll refer them to the home office here, and then they'll disseminate them to you all. The other side to that is that if you all have people that are talking about senior housing, we would greatly appreciate that you would refer those people to us. So we want to feel this is mutually beneficial. So when you have clients that are talking about senior housing, you might have an adult child who has a parent up north and they're talking about senior housing, or maybe it's the actual person and they're talking about senior housing, you know, please refer those people to us. There's no charge. So, Michael, you asked me the other day, what's the skin in the game? And there's no skin in any game. We're not collecting a referral fee. We're not charging anything. We're not paying you anything. And so it's just, you know, it's back and forth referrals. So there's no financial arrangement either way. We're going to be providing, through Corey, we're going to be providing some educational programs for you all to kind of talk to you about how to work with seniors, how to sell to seniors, maybe it's sort of the landscape of senior housing out there, what's future trends. So we have a number of different topics that we're going to be working on. And then we're going to be working on other joint projects together, joint marketing events where, maybe I'm going to be talking about senior housing. We're going to maybe do it at Neighbor and invite a bunch of, age qualified people, and I'll talk about senior housing, and you all can talk about how to, the state of the real estate market. And again, we're going to be working together. And we're very excited. We're very excited about the possibilities and where this is going to go, and I'm sure it's going to grow into something very beneficial for all of us. So we're very excited. So how can we help each other? So we have some handouts, and so Corey's going to send out these handouts, and I just want to kind of go through the handouts a little bit, because the handouts are kind of the expectations, and so one of the, what do you do, if you have a client interested in senior housing, what steps should you take? And so the first thing, obviously, you'd want to call us and say, Bruce or Brenda, I have somebody, please call them. And it's much better for you to say to your client, I'm going to have Bruce call you. Because if you just give our brochure out and you say, please call Bruce, they don't call. So it's much better if you can say, let me have Bruce or let me have Brenda give you a call, and they will call you. And you should notify your client that we have an expert resource that is, affiliated with John R. Wood, and that our services are 100% free, and that we're current with all the different options in this area. What we would ask to your client is that please do not recommend places for them. And you just have to kind of bite your tongue, but please do not recommend saying, hey, I know about this place around the corner, go check it out. Please don't do that, because remember, we get paid if we're the point of first contact. So if you're recommending places and they're out there researching on their own, that will cut us out of the deal. And then again, we'll meet with people on a one-on-one basis, and then we'll narrow down their choices, and then we'll communicate the status with you on an ongoing basis. On the flip side to that, if we have somebody that we have referred to you to sell their home, what are our expectations? And so the first thing we would ask is, give us a call first. Let us give you some insight about these people. Maybe there's some medical conditions, maybe there's a daughter up north, or maybe there's because we have the relationship. So give us a call first. And then, and I'm sure all of you all will, but just be sensitive about the magnitude and the scope of this decision. The majority of people don't want to move, and so, they're dealing with a lot of emotion, and they don't really want to move anywhere. And so you have to be sensitive to the fact that they really don't want to move, and they're struggling with all that. But you want to support their decision, and you want to, affirmation is very important. So you want to support their decision to move oh, Mrs. Smith, you're making a great decision, you're really gonna like where you're moving to. Again, please do not offer alternatives. So, because again, this is gonna be somebody that we have referred to you that has a home to sell. So we've already pretty much have found a place for that person to move to. But if you go in there and say, hey, have you checked out this place on the corner? Well, that kind of messes things up. So, if you can just, and I know everybody's caring and everybody wants to be helpful, but let us do our job and we will let you do your job. And so, that's very important. Be realistic with your pricing and your timing. Support, and as we will support the idea that it's better to move somewhere before their home is sold. As I'm sure you all can relate to this, a lot of people, I'm sure you hear this a lot, people don't want to leave their home vacant. And they don't want to move somewhere and have their home sitting there by themselves. And I'm sure you all agree that it's probably much easier to sell their home while they're not there. And so, we're working together as a team to try to, we want somebody to move, and we probably want them to move sooner rather than later. And so, we gotta support that idea that they wanna move before their home is sold. And, because I know if you're trying to show their home, and there's a walker, or there's medical supplies, and there's, the house is a mess, it's in no condition to sell. So it's much better to get them out, let them live somewhere, and then you all can do your thing and sell it. And then again, communication is the key. So if there are any issues, or if you're noticing any health changes of our clients, just let us know. And then I know that you all have this new software about the status of things, and so just kind of keep us up to date how things are going with the sale of their home. And that's pretty much what we ask for. So, again, let us use our expertise and we will let you use yours. Communication back and forth is being successful, and just call us anytime. I'm available 7 days a week. You can call me, and I'm very responsive, so please just call me and reach out to us. And so with that, I'll open up for some questions. For people, I know we're streaming this or we're doing this online, so the people who are watching this online, please either email me at bruce@seniorhousingsolutions.net or call me at 239-595-0207. So, questions? Yes, ma'am.